Hi friends, I am Navjot and I am a full stack developer, and today we will discuss some of the concepts of the pattern recognition that is based on a deep learning and a machine learning models. Under the pattern recognition, we will discuss the application of flower species recognition based on the certain patterns which are generated by a deep learning models. That models will recognize as well as predict the various species. One very important fact is that all the patterns are totally based on the features which they have recognized. We will discuss one of the research article in this video that is proposed in 2018 by a researcher MUSC. That researcher proposed one model which achieved an accuracy of 99.95%. So let's discuss that article in detail. So this is a research article named as Efficient Deep Feature Selection and Classification for Flower Species Recognition. Flower species recognition is one of the application of pattern recognition. So this author proposed a model. So this is the model which is shown in a figure 1. Very important when we go for the deep learning as well as for the machine learning models, there are certain steps which we need to follow every time. So that steps are our data set input. Second step is pre-processing the data set. Pre-processing the data set will remove extra information or unwanted information from the data set. In our third step, we will apply a feature extraction algorithms. In the last, we will apply a classification model. That classification model may be a deep learning model, may be a classification, may be a machine learning model. So in this phase, they have used a features extraction from pre-trained CNN model. So first of all, we need to understand that what are the pre-trained models. So as we know that when we are applying a deep learning, we need a large data set, large amount of training data set. So Google, Facebook, they have provided us various already trained models. So one of the very popular trained model is AlexNet. So in this model, in this proposed framework, they have used a AlexNet. So AlexNet is a popular data pre-trained data set. Okay. After that, they have used a AlexNet features. Second one, they have used a pre-trained model, pre-trained data set, that is VGJ60. They have taken features of both the data set, then merge that features, then select a relevant feature. That is a very important thing when we are selecting a relevant features. There are various algorithms which are already being proposed which will select a relevant features. One of the very popular algorithm is PCA, that is Principal Component Analysis. In the last, they have applied a classification. Ultimately, the classification model will predict something, like they will predict a pattern. In this, here we need to predict a flower species. Okay, this is a 2.1 phase. So after that, in 2.1 phase, they have discussed the overview of the model, that how their model will work. In the section 2.2, they have used a feature selection. Like I have told you that they have applied a feature selection model. So they have proposed their own model for the feature selection. Okay. In the third phase, they have discussed that how sport vector machine works. As the name implies, that sport vector machine worked on the sport vector. Sport vector, there's a formula as discussed in the equation number 10 and 11. This is the formula. They have define a two classes, that is a one class and a minus one class. One class is of one species and minus one class is of second species. So in this way, they have proposed a pattern recognition model, pattern prediction model. In the experiment result discussion section, they have discussed that they have taken a data set of flowers which has approx 17 categories. Means they want to classify or want to predict the data into the 17 classified. One very interesting fact is that in the resultants discussion section, as I discussed with you, they have achieved a accuracy, a specificity, a sensitivity of 99.95%. That is quite high. Accuracy is 95.7%. Sensitivity is 95.29%. And they have tested this model on the various type of data sets. And also they have compared their model with the other very popular models that is proposed in the previous years, like in 2015, in 2016, in 2014, and so on. So we have developed the code of this. So this is the code. I have used a Google Colab, which is the very popular tool for the implementation of various Python frameworks, especially which are based on the deep learning. Because in a deep learning, we need to use our GPUs, and Google provide us a free GPU cloud-based services on which we can develop the code. As in the starting of this video, I told you that when we are doing something about on machine learning and deep learning, first of all, we need to take a data set as an input, pre-process that data set, extract the features, and classify. So basically, these all are the steps which we need to follow. So in this code, I have followed these all steps. So first of, in the first block, I have highlighted it. I have taken certain data set as an input. Next, I just analyze that what is in my data set. I just take images, count that images, that how much images is in my code. After that, as I need to use a deep learning models like AlexNet, so I have imported a Keras. Keras, TensorFlow are very popular libraries of Python which are used for the deep learning. So here I have used a Keras as a data set, a Keras for the deep learning, a library. After that, I just visualize my data set. After the visualization of the data set, I just describe that what is the size of my images and number of labels. Number of labels means classes. Like in the paper, they said there are 13. So here exactly same 13. After that, I just visualize my whole data set. Then I define that how many number of layers I have used in my model. Like in the CNN model, in the deep learning model, we need to describe the layers. That how much layers, like 3 layers, 4 layers, what are the concatenation layers, that 2 or 3, how much? So that I have defined. Now, after that, when we are defining the deep learning model, there are the 3 phases. First phase, make the model. So here I have defined my model. After that, compile the model. I have compiled the model. In the last phase, train the model. So I have trained my model. After that, I'm just visualizing that what is the accuracy of training. So I have defined that this much is the accuracy of my training. After that, I just define prediction. So in a Python, in a machine learning, there is a fit function which is used to train the model, and the predict function is used to predict something. Okay. So in the last, I have used my fit function which will predict the results, and I have described that what is my prediction. So these are the overall phases which we need to follow when we are doing any type of pattern recognition. Here I have taken a special example of flower pattern recognition, which is inspired from this research article, which is proposed by this author in year 2018. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching.